Hello, my lovely people. Hello. I just got inspired by a reel. I was watching or listening to a reel, and the guy at the reel that was talking something about photography students and photography professor. I didn't exactly catch that, but the moral of this story was that repetition is better than perfectionism. And when I record those episodes, when I record the podcast, I am always a little bit I just don't know how it's gonna come out, and if I'm good at it, and if I'm not great at it, then what's the point of recording it? Just a normal thinking. And when I've heard this guide saying repetition, and I have got over 20 episodes under my belt, so I thought, what the heck, let me just record this episode and repeat from all the other 20 episodes, probably some errors, probably things that are not perfect, well, definitely not perfect, but perhaps on my episode 150 I will be a little bit better than I am now. So here it goes. One of the things I wanted to talk about today is something that I was thinking today at work, or maybe yesterday, about who we are and how much we are tied, or how much we think how important things that we do in life are to who we are. So the simple example is that for me, when I get introduced to someone, I probably wouldn't care that much in the beginning about what they do, perhaps where they're from, and all these things that make you who you are. For me, I would like to know your name, which, by the way, very often, you know that as well, that you get in when you get introduced to many people, you won't remember their names, and you won't necessarily remember what they do that much, probably. The thing that you remember is the energy around this person, is how this person behaved, the body language, the smile, the facial expression, how you felt when you were introduced, or where you talked to this person, how this person made you feel. What did you feel? The instant is very instant. It's you feel, maybe a connection, maybe an interest, maybe a curiosity, maybe a dislike. And obviously we behave like this subconsciously. And another story is about bias, and if we find something familiar or not about this person, I like to think that because I operate on a spiritual level, let's say, on a level when everything is a little bit more based on energy rather than on any bias, I would like to think that if I meet a person, there is this energetic connection that just starts. What I mean is, I recognize this person, and it's funny because I was laughing, or I was just making fun of this in my mind, really, of people that I used to know, and they used to say, oh, I met this person, he's definitely a Pleiadian, or he's definitely this Arcturian, or whatever. Not so as if people from these planets, from these realities would recognize each other because there is something so familiar. And like I said, I used to kind of a bit ridiculous in my mind is I recognize my family, I recognize they are Pleiadians, they are from my soul family, but in a way, however you describe it or however you reason with it, it could be, some people say it could be, I know them from previous lives, or, you know, you had a soul connection, previous life. It could be when you were a different entity, when you're a different spiritual being. So you recognize this person, or group of people or whatever. It can happen in an instant. It can happen within nanoseconds. So I was at the work meeting, and this was held over virtually, and and I know that it's not very professional, but I was kind of facilitating an informal meeting, and I didn't even think about going deeper or introducing people by their profession. I forgot myself for a moment. I went into this, we are creating something, we are trying to achieve something, let's ditch who is who and kind of almost who does what, because this is going to come up in the discussion, and you don't necessarily need to tell someone, I am John, I am IT specialist, or I am IT designer who has been with company for 2 years, or whose job in this project is this and this. I am Susie, right, I am working for company this and that. How, in my mind, if there's 5 people and they are working to achieve something, how beautiful would it be if they just read their own energy, and that would, first of all, for me, that would kill all the ego or egos that might be flying around, and that are so, the ego kind of flying and speaking from your ego is so well used in the corporate environment, and this, I am this, my position is this, I am representing that in my company, is so strong. So how beautiful it would be, and I think very beneficial for everyone if they stop using titles as such. I mean, it's not that you have to hide your title, it's not like you have to not have maybe titles, because it's all as it is, and I don't care about changing this corporate ladder or levels. It's not up to me. I was just talking about this, my experience at the at this meeting, and also what I've heard from a couple of people now, I remember recently, is kind of saying about yourself of what you do and what is your essence, when so many times it's just very hard to establish, and you can kind of jump from one thing to another, and your interest may be in many places. The other also from Reels or from Instagram, there is this girl I follow. She is basically a content creator, and she was explaining how hard it is for people to understand what the content creator does. So photos, managing the relationships with the brands, invoicing, research, this and that, just so many fields. And it's a little bit like that with being a spiritual person, being a person. If we imagine, if we were so much in touch with our intuition, with our essence, which is a part of universe, a part of God, someone who's been here for thousands and thousands and thousands of years. How less important would it be what you do in this moment in life, that you are I don't know, a credit manager, or the even a CEO, whatever position you are holding. This does not say as much about you as you would like. This is just something that you, I guess, also, if you are not that passionate about this, what I'm trying to say is, first of all, you are you, and how we recognize each other is by emitting this energy of our I, of the spirit that we are. And first of all, a lot of us has got the spirit not very visible or covered, but loads and lots of layers that are, different layers, society layers, religious layers, and trauma layers, and everything that covers the spirit, the true essence of who we are. So that's the first thing. And the second thing is that also the society, and I think most of all, education and religion, and then followed by media, TV, and politics or governments, they kill our intuition. And intuition is something that would help us recognize other people. We would not have to know if this person is that or the other. We would just feel. Very much so if this person is hurting, if this person is wounded, if this person is trustworthy, if this person is loving, or if it's best to leave this person alone to themselves because they are not ready for whatever there is, a relationship or anything like that. We would just feel it. The energy, or the energy would be felt by our intuition. And another thing, really fun thing I have seen somewhere as well is and it's about intuition, and I really invite you to try this because it's really fun, and it's got something to do with kind of us, our inner essence, listening to our guides. And also, I think very much about the intuition, but in a little bit of woo-woo fun way. So if you would like to find something out, or if you would like to ask a question, a yes, no question, the way to do it is you would stand up. So just stand up. And then you would ask your spirit guide, if this is good for me, is this the way to follow? Is this the right way? Should I do that? And I just let the spirit guide you by, if that's the right way for you, you would then lean forward. If that's not right way for you, something will push you back. And I really encourage you to try it. It's just a little bit like a fun children's game, but when I tried it first time, and I mean, it's not something that you're gonna ask the spirit every time, but I did a couple of times, and I actually burst out laughing because the pull back and the pull forward for another things was actually so strong, and you kind of don't think about it as, am I going to go back, and what am I doing? It's just you just stay straight, and then no, it doesn't happen kind of straight away, but it might. So for some things, for me, I just went woo, like forward, and then for some things I was like, phew, and then going back. But then other things I was just standing and kind of didn't know which way was going, and then it was a very light touch, either back or forth. So yeah, it's just a funny thing, but I think it's a very good start for first of all, just playing with energy and also trusting your guides, but also I think your intuition does take part in this. And there's lots and lots of other like games or things that you can do, feeling the energy. And as much as you can try and feel your own energy, I think this will help you at some point to feel other people's energy. And for me, how I feel other people is usually quite trustworthy. So I am quite open to each and every person, and I think maybe because also of the spiritual teachings that I go through, I see people, lots of wounding, lots of people who are really having this inner child really wounded or quite closed, and then behaving this or other way. Lots and lots of people. And then in corporate environment it's just really lots and lots of people like that. And because I speak to not to John, the manager of whatever, I speak to their inner child, often they open up. Not always. It's not always the bestest of the way to interact with people, I think, because some of them are so close. And I was explaining this to someone on my just a call today, that some of them are so perhaps wounded, perhaps they just made up their words so much and don't want to open anything, because if you pull out one part of this, let's say, Jenga, like they life that they have so meticulously put together, and if you pull out one part or two parts, the whole life is gonna just collapse. So they are so guarded because it's perfection how they made it, and they might be suffering, but in the way they made it, they are as comfortable as they can get. So they would never ever allow you to go any deeper in any of their cracks, and they are not going to allow you to pull out this little block, because they have to guard it, because that's their life. And the collapse, it almost equals death, or sometimes is as painful as death for some of the people, and you have to recognize that, and it just takes, first of all, they have to want to do it, and second of all, it requires a very skillful practitioner or specialist or spiritual person to kind of deal with that. Is the same thing to compare is, and I've also heard it from a lot of spiritual people, if you have your ayahuasca ceremony, the shaman who is leading this, it needs to be a very, very specific and a person who has studied that, who knows exactly what to do, very experienced, and so on and so forth. It cannot be just like a random person, because when you get the collapse, when you get the person open up to you, when you get a vulnerability from the person, you have to know how to help this person put it all together. You cannot leave the person just collapsed and so vulnerable, didn't know what to do anymore. So yes, that was just my little talk of today about how to recognize spiritual people, how to be with this energy, so that we don't have to say who we are on this earth, and we can talk the language of spirituality. I hope you enjoyed that, and I speak to you soon. Bye bye.